Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We are here for another one of your practical questions about work. For those of you who are here with us for the first time, I have to remove this card. I'm Roy, and I'm a startup investor in the future of work. And Catherine worked with us on our team 3 years ago now? More?
It's 2017.
4 years ago, dear Lord, summer 2017, when you were like just finishing Stanford, or maybe you were still in your master's program.
Yeah.
And she's a machine learning engineer. And so this is, Catherine, you're in the kind of occupation where there's demand for you. Like, people want machine learning engineers. And so the question, and this is new grad week, where we're facing questions that recent graduates may be dealing with. And this one is especially apt in our current topsy-turvy world, which is, how much does it matter where I choose to live after I graduate? And you actually moved too. So yeah, I would love to hear your perspective on this. How much does it matter where I live after I graduate?
Yeah, so my short answer is yes, it absolutely does matter where you live. And just, I think that unless you are literally never leaving your house, which is also okay, I think your surroundings really do have a big impact on your mindset, your happiness. And I think that's something you should definitely consider when you're trying to figure out where to go after college.
And so how now, actually, maybe you could share your story of like, how did you think about it? Because I'm curious, especially now in a world where it's ambiguous as to whether and when you will need to show up in some certain place. If you were putting yourself back in your old shoes, what would you tell yourself about where to live? And, how would you decide?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting nowadays. But I would say that when I was deciding, and I think this is still the case, there's kind of two main considerations, personal and professional. So professionally, where are all the jobs for what you're doing? I am a software engineer. So when I was making this decision, most of the jobs were in the Bay Area, which is where I ended up staying. For that reason, mainly, I think. But obviously now, especially with tech companies, most of them, I would say, are open to remote work, some form of remote work, which really opens it up for you to more strongly consider the other side of things, which is the personal side. I think when I was making this decision, I was considering that as well. So just a little bit of background. I'd gone to college in the Bay Area, did my master's there, was there for like 5 years, and then was deciding on where to start my first job. And pretty much all of my friends were staying in the Bay Area too. So I felt very comfortable there. I knew I would be content there. So I did end up taking my first job in the Bay Area. It was fine. It was like pretty much what I expected. But I didn't feel like I was growing personally, wasn't exploring new things. It was kind of same friends, same activities. And I think really after college is a really great time to explore what you like to do, meet new people. And it can be very scary, like age-old questions, how do you make new friends after school or after you're done with school?
My solution is have children and then meet your children's friends' parents.
Yeah, I don't think there's a great answer, but you kind of like, if you put yourself out there, I promise you'll figure it out. And another consideration is that none of the decisions you make at this time are permanent. You can always move to a new city and then move back if you don't like it. Even with your job, you can change jobs.
How did you decide when it was time for you to move?
So I was about 2 years into my first job, and I just felt kind of stagnant. I was hanging out with the same people that I had been for the last 7 years.
You wanted to mix it up.
Yeah, I wanted to mix it up. I really had no major complaints.
I get it.
I was just kind of just felt stagnant. And when I was deciding to move to New York, it is a big cross-country move. It's kind of a pain to move in general. My recommendation is just to rip off the Band-Aid. If you set a date and you sign a lease, everything else will fall into place.
I love that. Yeah,
Thinking about it, you'll keep thinking of reasons not to go.
Yeah, in my case, I moved to New York after graduating from school. Obviously, it's a privileged position to be in, to get to choose where you want to live. I mean, many people are not in that position. And I assumed I'd live in New York for the rest of my life, but not all the rest of my life, because I wanted to try some other things. My wife and I got married. I got offered a job in San Francisco. She wanted to leave New York for a while too. And so we left on 6 days notice, thinking that it would be a year or two tops. And that was 12 years and 2 children ago. And I definitely echo your perspective about heavily weighting your personal life. I've never seen somebody who said, you know what, I moved here to be happy personally, but man, what a terrible choice. And I think the world in which we live is giving more and more power to talented people, at least in certain occupations. And I'm talking here about jobs like yours and mine, office type information industry jobs. And in those jobs, I believe that leverage is moving to people, and they should do what makes them happy and fulfilled. And the version of this question we get, and then I'll stop, is just the founder version, which is, where should I start my company? And you can start a great company anywhere. I mean, I think you're likely to run into you're likely to learn the tradecraft of starting a company faster in a place where the density of great startup founders is higher. So that is still the Bay Area, New York. We could debate about other places, But nonetheless, if you want to start your company in Columbus, you could build a fantastic company in Columbus. No question. The evidence is that it's been done. So yeah, that's kind of how I think about it. And I think particularly with this issue, it's really hard to give somebody advice. And so the not advice is you have 2 people's examples here from which folks can draw. And Kat, I think your story is such a good representative illustration of what a lot of people go through, is do the thing that's easy first, and then think about it for yourself and take a chance. Because part of the reason to move someplace is just to learn what that place might be like. You can't know unless you go. There we go. That's my rhyme for today. But Kat, we miss you on the team and would love to have you back here. And it's just fun to have an excuse to connect with you.
Yeah, it's great chatting.
All right. To be continued. Thank you.